Go for it. Whoa! Whoa! It's so fast!
Oh,
The camera can't even pick up how fast it is.
speed!
Holy smokes! Whoa!
Imagine going through a drive-through and you turn on the windshield wiper and it just throws all the water on your server. Tesla is banned from driving schools because of the new turn signals. This is in Norway, and this is only for vehicles that do not have stocks for turning signals. If or once Tesla goes to steer-by-wire for all of its vehicles, then this will no longer be a problem. But for now, some people really don't like it. Mostly just in Europe because you have so many roundabouts. Over here in the US, we don't really have almost any of these, so it's fine really to not have stocks. Canaccord Genuity put out a new Tesla stock note. They maintain their buy rating and a $267 price target for the next 12 months. We are quite bullish on Tesla's long-term growth prospects, and yet our price target is pretty much exactly where Tesla stock is right now. We see vehicle autonomy as one of the highest value creating technologies to be deployed ever, and yet we maintain a low Tesla stock price target. And Tesla, with its razor blade approach, is a leader in this real-world AI. We think Tesla is Apple on steroids as it focuses on manufacturing and a higher level of vertical integration. Tesla is the sustainability behemoth in our opinion. Oh, and I love the Cybertruck. Me too. However, the stock had a strong 2023 despite a significant reduction in earnings estimates, and now, as we stare at 2024, we wonder, are already lowered estimates for 2024 and 2025 low enough? Are margins ready to bounce back in a big way as we enter a growth pause? What will drive the stock for now? What can drive earnings upside or additional excitement after the upcoming growth slowdown? We await an interesting earnings call that should help us answer some of our questions. Stay tuned and mind the gap. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think I can recall a single Tesla earnings call at this very moment before which I could not have said, oh, this earnings call is going to be interesting. And James says, oh my, if they are waiting for the earnings call, there's a good chance they will be disappointed. I think there's almost nothing else that an analyst hates more than putting out a note with a buy rating, being bullish about the stock, and then the stock drops that same day. So far, Tesla stock is down almost 4% today. I think it's probably mostly because the market is down. I haven't seen any news stories that would make me go, oh, yeah, today Tesla stock should be down. I treat these dips exactly like I treat salad. I treat them as opportunities. An opportunity to improve my future. The reason why the market is down today is due to concerns the Fed may not be as aggressive in cutting rates as some had hoped. We have some good news here. Jefferies just increased their Tesla stock price target from $210 to now $255. They reiterated their hold rating, which I think for them stands for hold on for your dear life. That's a pretty good summary of holding Tesla stock pretty much. The reason why they increased their Tesla stock price target, other than Tesla stock being higher than where their previous Tesla stock target was, is they like the Model S and X deliveries being higher in Q4 than expected. There's another note today, so many Tesla stock notes. This one is from Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas. In our view, Tesla's long-term volume goals cannot be achieved without securing a diverse range of partnerships across global regimes. Outside of China, we struggle to see anyone who can compete with Tesla at this stage. We don't think it's a coincidence at all that Tesla's stepped-up engagement with foreign countries comes at a time when China has surpassed Japan as the largest exporter of passenger cars. Morgan Stanley also talked a little bit about BYD, which delivered more fully battery electric vehicles last quarter than Tesla, but they have as many models as women have pairs of shoes. They say that number was possible because of ongoing promotion campaigns, and they are skeptical that they can continue growing because they think that other countries will not really be thrilled about BYD cars being imported into their countries. I think though that there is definitely room for both companies to be very successful. In the meantime, I stumbled across what you could call maybe a bit of hypocrisy, so I need to show this to you guys. This reporter, Laura, in 2021 said, Tesla reports 499,550 vehicle deliveries for 2020, slightly missing its target. Missing its target. Okay, so we just had a beat of about 4,000 vehicles, which is based on the company compiled consensus. And there's no mention of a slight beat. Tesla reported 485,000 deliveries for the fourth quarter, bringing 2023 to 1.8 million. Remember, this reporter, she definitely has a bias against Tesla. I don't have a problem with slightly missing the target here, but I do have a problem when the standards and the principles that she follows are adjusted based on how the story needs to be portrayed, I guess, in her eyes, because maybe she does not want to make Tesla look too good. It's not really like I'm surprised, but it is what it is. Oh, but check this out. It gets even more interesting. She said that analysts had expected Tesla to report deliveries of 477,000. So the consensus that she's using is even lower than the consensus that I was looking at. And still, I mean, with this number, yeah, definitely there was a beat. That's a beat of about 8,000 vehicles then. And there's not a single mention of that. Not cool. Tesla Cybertruck becomes one of the most American-made pickup trucks. Hold on. I thought Sawyer just tweeted that it's the most American-made pickup truck. Let me double check. Sources: the Tesla Cybertruck is officially the most American-made truck overall. The Cybertruck has 90% North American parts, including 65% from the US and Canada, per Tesla's Monroney sticker. Is that how you say it? The Ford F-150 Lightning has just 38% US-Canada content, and the ICE version just 30%. So it's definitely more American than the most American pickup truck you can think of, F-150. Tesla has gone to great lengths to localize as much as possible, of course. So what's going on? Electric writes that this should be more than enough to make the Cybertruck one of the most American-made pickup trucks in the world, and some publications are already announcing it as such, but it's a bit premature just based on the window sticker, writes Electric. The Honda Ridgeline, for example, made in Alabama, shows a window sticker with 10% more parts coming from the US and Canada than the Cybertruck. It is, or it might be, the most North American made, or the most American made from an American automaker, but we need to see more data to confirm it officially, says Electric, basically. And I like data, so I'm going to wait until I see more data to say, yeah, it is the most American-made pickup truck. Ooh, GM to offer $7,500 discounts on EVs that do not qualify for tax credits in 2024. This might be the most important piece of news today. Truist Securities has raised its Tesla stock price target to $228, up from $226. It does appear to be an honest move because it probably comes from higher Model S and X sales, and a $2 increase is, you know, Tesla's market cap is not small. So to me, it does make sense that they increased their Tesla stock price target by $2, but nonetheless, it looks funny. Seems like Tesla is about to improve its superchargers. Tesla's charging account says minor things mattered, cable dock and stiffness improvements coming soon. This was in response to this post, which complained about Tesla's new supercharger design. Jason from engineering explained is not happy with the Cybertruck. It's wild how overpromised and under-delivered the Cybertruck is, and seemingly with very little backlash in terms of desirability. Way less range, less tow capacity, less payload, smaller bed, fewer seats, and huge price jump, even inflation adjusted. As a customer, I would not be happy, but as an investor, I look at 2.3 million pre-orders, and before the Cybertruck was announced, do you think that Tesla really thought, oh yeah, the Cybertruck definitely for sure, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, is for sure going to be widely successful and will have 2.3 million pre-orders. I don't think that was Tesla's thinking at the time. I think they were more thinking about, okay, hopefully this actually works, but we don't know, but let's find out. And also, if you look at the model that most people actually want, which is the dual motor all-wheel drive, Tesla did over-deliver on some of the things. For example, it actually has 340 miles of range instead of roughly 300 expected. It has a slightly higher tow rating by about 10%. The ground clearance is also slightly higher. And in terms of price, I don't think we can judge what the price is going to be until Tesla really works through the whole backlog. After that, then we can judge Tesla on the price. This reminds me of the Model 3 Backlash, which was supposed to be a $35,000 car, which now it actually is. If you adjust for inflation, it's actually below $35,000. I certainly understand the frustration, but I don't see anything wrong here. James just shared his delivery prediction track record. It's actually pretty good. On average, he's only off 2.5%. And if I look at Troy's record, and if I average everything out for deliveries from Q3, so for the same time period, Troy is off on average by about 2.9%. I double checked the average error rate that James has, and that seems correct, but I have not double checked every single one of these. But it appears that James is doing a very, very good job. So unless James messes up big time, I will probably pay a bit more attention to his estimates as well as Troy's. Seems like the government is having some issues with the $7,500 rebates. As of right now, Tesla is still offering the same $7,500 EV tax credit that they did last year. Tesla has not yet started offering the new $7,500 rebates, which are applied at the point of sale. I assume they will soon, but I don't know how soon, says Sawyer. I also saw other car dealerships having the same problem, so it's not a Tesla unique problem. Seems like it is widespread. Oh, that's a nice touch. Did you know that the Cybertruck has a Mars mode, which affects how everything is visualized?
You can just kind of lift them up a little bit and boom, they come up. This does have a soft close function though, so if you come in close, just so the viewers can see this one, I'm just going to lightly close the tailgate and you'll see, boom, it just gets sucked right in, which is really nice. Just give you one last look at that soft close here. I'm just gonna, again, get it right to the latch and then it sucks itself in and locks it. Soft close is nothing new, but great that it's here on the tailgate. I think that's just such a nice feature where if you're not going to go all the way and put a motor in it, that upward force just makes it honestly so much nicer than having to lift the tailgate up every time.
GM just announced their Q4 EV deliveries and they are up 16% year over year. And GM's Q4 EV deliveries are roughly 4% of Tesla's Q4 deliveries. Sam Kors from Mark Invest has a point about robotaxis. The finding is that very few taxi rides have more than 2 people. At the same time, very few cars with 2 seats are sold to personal owners. And here's what ARK Invest's futurist says. A 2-seat robotaxi can fulfill over 90% of demand and is optimum strategy. Maximize unit production and data collection at minimal capital expenditures. But if analysts doubt the ability to commercialize robotaxi, they will hate the form factor and forecast a failure. I think a 2-seat robotaxi probably makes the most sense because all of the Model 3s and Model Ys later on could also be turned into robotaxis, so you will have plenty of 5-seater cars. And then eventually you can make a robotaxi with more than 2 seats. This has to be the most detailed Cybertruck review. It is almost 2 hours long, 1 hour 48 minutes. I'll be checking it out later. Ford just increased pricing for its cheapest Lightning offerings by $5,000 and $10,000 for this version. If you remember, not a long time ago, Ford cut production by about 50% and now they are increasing prices. Did they want to sell these trucks? All right, we have an update on the Lithium Refinery in Texas. Tesla Senior Manager of Operations said in October of last year, we will begin commissioning the assets roughly the first of next year. They will start ramping up production the latter half of next year. So yeah, progress is definitely being made here. We now have the wholesale number from China, which includes local sales within China and exports, and it is 94,000 For December had the highest wholesale number. The second highest number was in June at 93,680. And huge exports continue from Giga Shanghai. We were supposed to get this number yesterday, but for some reason we didn't. But here it is now. Last week's deliveries in China were pretty strong, coming in at 15,800. And the last quarter was by far the best quarter within China, with 173,000 deliveries roughly. The next quarter, Q1, is going to be a bit tougher because, first of all, February has fewer days than most months. And then second of all, in China, the Chinese New Year, everything stops for 1 or 2 weeks. So while another record in China is certainly possible, it's just gonna be a bit more difficult. We have a Giga Texas and Giga Berlin run rate production updates from Troy. Giga Texas Model Y production run rate is 160,000 per year. They can increase this to 500,000 per year, but they need more US made batteries and more demand in the US. Giga Berlin's run rate is 200,000 per year. They can do 375,000, but they need either more demand in Europe or fewer imports from China, says Troy. And he elaborates further. The plan for Giga Berlin's full capacity was 500,000 per year with 4 crews working 40 hours per week each, but Tesla decided that night shifts were too costly in Germany, so they reduced it to 3 crews. Therefore, full capacity will be 375,000 per year. Currently, they have 2 crews. Troy also updated his production table for 2023, and he estimates that Tesla produced 1.246 million Model Ys and a little bit over 500,000 Model 3s, as well as 270 Cybertrucks.
Phil just mentioned 2.3 million. Are you going to be towards the high end in terms of what you expect them to deliver this year?
Yeah, I think whisper expectations could be higher. Look, this was a strong result. You look what's happening in China. There were fears there, and it was actually a source of strength. We think a record quarter in China. So I do think this is an important, sign that demand's actually strengthening for Tesla. It continues to be maybe EV demand soften, but not Tesla demand, and that's the important thing going into 24.
Yeah, where is that line? Why is that the case then? And in particular in China, where BYD is such a strong competitor, are they going to be able to maintain their market share?
Yeah, BYD has done a phenomenal job, but I do think if you look in the driver's seat, it's Tesla and BYD. Gained some net share from NIO and others, and in China, especially if you look at the last few quarters, there were fears that this price war was going to continue. It actually hasn't. See, now, to Phil's point, you're seeing price stabilization. That's very important because now the Goldilocks scenario, margins upticking, demand upticking, that's where, in our opinion, you see $1 trillion market cap for Tesla over the next year, despite many of the haters continuing to hate.
Farzad does make a point that we should think about here. Folks thinking BYD overtaking Tesla in 2024 is bad for Tesla are about as blind as it gets. BYD's success proves that there's large global demand for EVs. With their best-in-class margins not even close, Tesla will make boatloads of money for years to come. Let's also remember that BYD's margins include hybrids, and it's easier to make profits from hybrids than pure battery electric vehicles. A reminder that later this week I will be dropping an exclusive video on this channel. I will put the word exclusive in the beginning of the title so you know that it is a unique exclusive video on that particular channel. It will be roughly a 10-minute video, so make sure to subscribe to that channel if you don't want to miss it. And if you want to have a good laugh and haven't seen this video yet, go check it out on my other channel, Wow with Matt. The link is down below.